I was talking about investing in your company, investing in yourself, buying a really good pair of shoes instead of buying a cheap pair and having to replace it every year. You buy a good pair of shoes and they last you like 3 times as long. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, I recommend going and watching that first, because today's video is all about what happens when you take that a little too far. So as small business owners, especially when we're just getting going, we tend to have this idea of like, I want to get set up the right way so that I'm set up for success, and I'm going to build this business in such a way that it can grow and it can be huge, and I'm setting myself up for success, which is not wrong. You are not wrong about that. You definitely want to create systems that are not super manual. You want to create a way of doing something that's not going to cause a bottleneck later on if you suddenly get a lot of orders or a lot of clients. However, there is this idea of like, in order to be a photographer, I have to go out and get the best camera. Or in order to be on YouTube, I have to go out and get the best camera. And that's not necessarily the case. We don't have to create these huge structures for ourselves before we know if it's going to work. So my partner, for example, he just started doing a product creation venture. And this time, instead of creating the website and the branding and doing like all of this behind the scenes work first, he created a Facebook page and he created a name. And I think he had a domain name just to make sure that he had the domain name. And that was it. And he started just going into Facebook groups using that Facebook page and asking people like, hey, what do you want to know about this? And like, if I was to offer blah, 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 he did a way better job than I'm doing right now. But the point is, he took his minimum investment, what was the minimum product that he needed to be able to go into the marketplace and start selling, basically. So he did not have the fanciest equipment or the biggest setup, but it was the minimum investment that he needed to make. And I think that's sometimes like we use that idea of like, oh, I need to have everything set up perfectly, and I need to have like a website, and it's got to have all these pages, and I need a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and LinkedIn page, and Twitter page, and like all the things pages, because there's definitely way more pages than that. I need to have all these things. I need to buy all these apps so that when I start my business, I don't have to put a ton of manual work into it, or like none of this is going to work if I don't have an email system. And so we spend a bunch of time researching, and we try to collect the best apps that we possibly can to get our business to work, but we don't actually have a business yet. And so we don't need any of these things, but what we're doing is we're hiding a little bit. Like, it's hard work to go out and sell your product. It's hard work to figure out who your ideal customer is, what they want, how to talk to them, and to create an offering that they're going to buy and then price it at the right price. All of that stuff is hard work. So instead, we hide in our research and our like, oh, I need this to be able to do that, and I think that's the other side of the coin to thinking that we need to invest in ourselves and our business, because we do need to invest in ourselves and in our business, but we don't necessarily need all the things all at once, all at the start. We can wait a little while. We can create a minimum viable product, create a business that works for now, and sort of solve problems as they come. I have definitely done this before, and it's so hard to find an app for something that you don't really have a problem with. like I remember trying to find a business management app, basically. Like I wanted something that would just manage my whole business for me. And it was hard for me to find something that I liked because I wasn't really able to define what I needed, because I hadn't run into a lot of the problems that these apps were trying to solve for. So in doing that research, I kind of ended up spinning my wheels a little bit because I wasn't able to really say this is what I need, because I didn't have the experience to know that this is what I needed. So things to keep in mind. If you're not sure where you need to invest, whether it's a storefront that you need to be able to sell whatever it is you're selling, or maybe you could be doing pop-up shops instead, or maybe you don't even need a storefront, maybe you can do everything online. And working through the numbers on that is super important. Obviously, I think that's important. Just understanding how much does it cost, how much do you think that you're going to make because you have whatever it is, so your pop-up shop or your storefront or whatever it is that you're investing in. What is the incremental revenue on that? How much more revenue will you make because you had this thing? And I think just doing that kind of math is really important. So I would love to help you with the math and to figure out whether you should be investing in this new, insert new thing here. I've put a link to my calendar in the description, so you can book 30 minutes with me and we can talk it through and we'll figure it out and point you in the right direction. If you have a question for me that you'd like answered on a future live video, leave it in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow.